welcome back to another episode of Secrets and Sabotage. And this week, we are joined by the fabulous Flo Edwards.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
Before we go into anything Traitors, because you're a fan of the Traitors, but background, Flo and I actually met from doing the Apprentice. Well, not the Apprentice. It was the Apprentice You're Fired, the after show, where we turn up and we give opinions that nobody asked. And we met on that. But that was so you're not new to the reality TV side of life. So I was really interested in getting you on here to see what the comparisons are between doing a show like The Apprentice and doing a show like The Traitors.
Very same but different, I think, is my initial observation. We're obviously all trapped away in a house, you guys being up in the Scottish Highlands, us being somewhere in London, and you're forced together with this group of people who you don't know, you've got to be friends with, but you've also got to throw them under the bus, which is same but different.
The thing that a lot of people don't know is you are completely cut off, right, from everything and everyone.
Yes, you've got no phones, no TV, no radio, no music. You get like 1 5-minute phone call home a week. So you're literally thrust into this space with these candidates and you're kind of left to your own devices. But as a result of that, we used to play games in the evening. And I've always been a huge fan of The Traitors, but I never knew it as The Traitors. It was Mafia.
Among Us, all the other ones, very similar.
Exactly.
The werewolf one as well.
Yeah, so I grew up around dinner tables, or when I go out with mates or have dinner parties, we always used to play Mafia.
Right.
And then when we were in the house, we had nothing to do. Everybody, all the cast was a full fan of The Traitors. So we actually played Traitors almost every evening, every time we had downtime. And we really got to know each other's personalities when we played that game. So, yeah, a little insight into what went on in the house.
And you were a finalist as well on The Apprentice. So how was that? How was that experience for you from start to finish?
You probably need to be more specific, because the experience in general has obviously its ups and downs about being on a show, as you know, you've experienced.
What was your highlight?
Do you know what? It was the people. The candidates in the house. They were just incredible people. And you don't, like, obviously you have 3 days worth of a task that's crammed into 1 hour on an edit. So you don't necessarily get to see everybody's true personalities. But honestly, everybody was a true pleasure to be with.
Is that how long the task? 3 days?
Yeah, you have task day 1, task day 2, and then boardroom, and then you might get one day.
Okay.
Might go straight into.
I thought you meant you have 3 days to do one task. I thought I'd been lied to.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. So you get the initial briefing on day 1, and then you'll run off and go start the task, and then day 2 is the task and the presentation, or whatever it is, and then day 3 is boardroom.
You had the boardroom, you guys had the round table.
Round table, yes.
Yeah, talk to me about that.
I still have nightmares over it now, to be fair. I think the round table for us is where it all happens, basically. I think during the day, a lot of people, when they watch the shows, like, I want the missions out of the way quickly, I want to get to the round table. But all of that builds for the round table, and especially within The Traitors, the show would turn, I would say, every half hour to an hour. Everyone would shift towards someone else. You've learned a lot from the round table. There'd be people that will come out straight away and attack. There'd be people that would sit back and be quiet. There'd be people that would chip in and chip out. That's the beauty of that round table, because that's where it's all at. That's the money shot on the round table. And you can, you've seen it in season 1 and 2. People could be on the radar and completely turn that round, or you see people drowning at the round table. And that's another thing, when you know when the walls are closing in on you, you can sense it from other contestants. I think everyone I've spoke to that was on the show knows when your time's up. It's a horrible feeling, but you know when you're done, and you're preparing for the round table. I didn't have that experience until the very last episode 12, obviously, when I knew I was well and truly dead and buried.
Question about the round table and the boardroom, because this is the thing that I always thought. I know I take things far too personally and far too seriously. and I've been sat watching both programs. So like the Boardroom,
Yeah.
they sat there, and in their groups, throw each other under the bus, and not even a little bit. It is dragging them across the street and laying them under the bus for them to drive over, and then they leave it after they've got through, and they're friends again. I don't know if I could do that, because I'd come out as like, you've just made me look an arsehole in there, and now we're friends. It's like, no, we need to have a conversation. How do you guys deal with that?
It's a game, but you have to realise first of all, it's a game. Yeah. It is a game. So, you have to realise, and it depends what the circumstances are, really, but that's your chance to challenge someone, that's your chance to defend yourself, and you only get that chance. So you have to, if it's on top, you've got to try and defend yourself. If you're going to go for someone, you need to go for them. So
you say it's a game. I'd be the same in Monopoly. You just sold me this house and now you want it back. No.
That's the way it is, Emmanuel. That's the way it is.
Yeah, I think the old adage rings true. Don't hate the player, hate the game. But I think where we differ versus the traitors is that's a lot more about sabotage, tactic. Who can I play and what pawns can I move to get where I want to be. Whereas I think with the Apprentice, it's a lot more factual, and I know that those that lasted longer in the Boardroom certainly didn't turn anybody else's light out to make themselves shine brighter. And it was, you didn't do that well here, and it was more critical as opposed to throwing people truly under the bus, because I think that's where it gets a bit, well, that's not very business professional, whereas
different.
Yeah, exactly.
Different.
So whilst it looks brutal, and but we're just being candid and honest with how we viewed the feedback, or what the feedback was of the tasks, whereas
constructive criticism, and you get a second chance. You don't get a second chance on the traitors. That's the conundrum. You've got to and what we've realised, I think, over the last season 1 and season 2, that the British public absolutely love the brutal twists and turns. So they want to see.
Oh gosh, yeah, they really switched it.
Like the opener when Claudia told you to get in that line.
And they'd done the spin from season 2 as well, and they lined up and she said they're never going to do the same thing again. But watching that at home was like, I did have little shivers down my spine again. But I think loads of people ask me, what's your standout moment from the show? For me personally, and I've got quite a lot of big moments in the show, but for me, and I've thought about it many a times, it was the elimination line, because that exact moment was the most brutal, hardest moment for me to deal with after trying to get on that show. But also it's where my journey ended, but actually it's where my journey began. So being thrown out was actually the beginning of my story, and then it obviously coming back and making it to the final. But in a cruel twist of fate, which that show gives you the most horrible cards to deal with, in that exact moment, which was the hardest to deal with, was the starting point on my journey. So that's my biggest talking point, and that's my biggest highlight, is going, but then obviously coming back and the journey beginning. But I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Me and Amos are still mentally traumatized over that, basically.
Cries every time.
Mate, I've never cried before. I've cried before about 4 times in my life. I've cried twice on that show.
Go on then, Emmanuel, back at you. Boardroom or round table?
I'd probably go Boardroom.
Why?
With the Boardroom, I think it's easier to have as close to facts as you can. It's something that is going to be tangible.
Yeah.
You didn't do this. With the round table, I'm kind of guessing, and I think I could probably look less an idiot at a Boardroom, because the amount of times you watch on Traitors and you got someone going, no, I'm sure, I'm 100% sure, he's there.
Yeah,
definitely. No, I'm faithful. Fuck! It is to say, and I reckon if I've got less chance of looking an idiot if I was in there in a Boardroom.
I think you look an idiot.
I hate you, and that's all.
Oh, good. Yeah, I think there's a perspective of between the two, but I think, like we spoke about it before, I think you need to do the round table, Emmanuel. It's your time.
I think they'd have to cut a lot of it out. It'd be a load of swear words. So many
You
swear
would be
words.
the loudest voice. Got a question about the tasks, because they look fine, and I guess it's something to do during the day
polite there,
to
right?
get out. I think I would want to see it more like a bush to.
Yeah.
So I think that would add another dynamic to it.
I think you're right. I mean, luckily for me,
I hope they do that.
Yeah, like eating bugs.
yeah. I mean, that I'm watching it at the moment. As in, it's really entertaining. The different shows that are out there at the moment. I enjoyed some more missions, like being buried alive on a Tuesday afternoon. It's not your average Tuesday. Being in a helicopter, but I'm glad I missed some of the early ones, like the ringing of the bell, the sheep. Some of them were like, I think they're. But that was the episode first series. So last year was a lot better. But I think they can have fun with them missions going forward. They can. I mean, they've got a blank book to write now. I think they can really mix things up because a lot of issues. The reason I have shields in the missions as well, because that will piss people off. Like, I'll roll with us. If you went for the shield, like, you would be a target. Like, we're all here to play. So if you're someone actively, last year you see people like jumping out the boat, swimming for, actively going to save themselves. You saw it in the American one, they didn't give zero fucks. They were like, right, I want that shield. I'm surviving another day. In our one, we were like, if you go for that, you're gonna be a target basically. So yeah, it just depends. I think it will get more brutal this year, without a shadow of a doubt. Absolutely, I'm all here for it. I'm here for it.
But it adds another dynamic because you want to win the money, so you also want the strongest people staying in. So although I'll take myself and you, or you and I, who have said we want to be faithful, might be a bit more strategic.
Yeah.
But we're also going to go and eat those bugs, so they'll then want to keep us in because we're winning the prize pot. So it'll add a different layer.
Perfect.
It made it more challenging.
I love that. You need more people. You want to bank that money. You're there to bank money. Obviously, everyone says, it's not about the money. It's bollocks. You're there to win the money. So it's the whole reason you said that. It's a game, and somebody's going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser. So anyone says, I'm just here for the experience, is talking absolute shit. So, but yeah, building up the pot, you need efficient players that are going to build that pot up. And that's when also the mentality changes as well. When people are a bit weaker, people do turn into they're like, right, they're not really cutting it, so we're going to. It's brutal.
Was it ever a thought process where you'd think, I might sacrifice someone who I know is faithful just because they're weak?
There was elements of, for me in season one, there was one where Theo, we had to vote Theo. Theo called me a father figure. Next day, I killed him. But there was times if you changed your persona in there, everyone's looking for the slightest, and I mean the slightest change in persona. And if they saw something and there was a vocal person and they said it to other people, everyone would just laser in on it. So you have to be really careful how you. And some people just give up. Like Theo, the last day, just said, "I'd had enough. I didn't want to." So his persona changed. People were like, okay. I'd obviously, like, talking bereavement, I'd lost Amos the day before when I sobbed my heart out, because obviously
you cried a lot.
Oh, I cried a lot, mate.
I'll be honest, when you were crying,
I don't.
I've seen myself.
Oh no, mate, I've got so many.
I find it hilarious.
I had so many messages and people seen me cry before. But when I got it, I got memed the hell out, but I got absolutely destroyed. So it is what it is. But yeah,
that was hilarious.
Yeah. Do you know? Funny enough, a couple of Katie's friends went to see Mickey Flanagan's new stand-up tour, and in the stand-up tour, he mentions the bit when I cry when Amos goes. He goes, "Have you seen that guy on the traitors? God, Jesus Christ!" Crying about when his mate goes. Oh, he absolutely rips me in his new show. So yeah, I'd expect you to do the same. To be fair, mate. So.
I'll sit there and watch it going. He's not dead, right? Like,
I look back now and go, but
it's paranoid. It's tactic.
And you've been on that. You've been there for so long. You do. We mentioned earlier, trauma bond. You do bond a lot with these people, and I was completely out of my comfort zone, and especially with Amos in particular, he was like my bestie in there. So to lose him was like I don't know why I cried to this day. I don't know why.
Like you're about to cry again.
I did, didn't I? Yeah, so tissue, anyone?
That's the thing. You watch these TV shows. You watch like Love Island and Big Brother or whatever it is, and you're like, how are they crying? They've lost a person. They've only known them a day.
Yeah.
I'm like, people don't understand what it's like to be trapped in that house with people that you don't.
Very
know.
good
like,
point. You're seeing it now with I'm a Celebrity side at the moment. People only been there like 2 weeks, but people are generally sad when someone goes. You do bond with them. However, I will say, in that moment as well, and after the show, I think people like split off and go their own ways and stuff like that. But yeah, in that particular environment, you're right. You do bond with people because that's all you know.
Yeah,
you ain't doing nothing else.
And you think the course of a relationship is sped up when you're in that environment. Yeah.
So you would do the traitors if given an opportunity?
I would, yeah. But I think I would really struggle because I think where it's so different is I could not imagine manipulating or lying to one of my closer friends.
You'll be surprised.
No, I don't think I could.
You say that.
Morally,
I didn't think I'd try on national TV, but I did. So yeah,
yeah, fair.
yeah. You'd be very surprised. And also, I think people now it is a game, and they've seen what's gone over the last couple of episodes. So yeah, I think you'd come quite easy if you tuned in quite quickly. I think you'd have a lot to offer.
But you're so, because it is just a game, but you guys are playing different games because you were never in a position where you had to lie.
No.
So that's the big difference. Then you've got to perform, and then it wasn't so much. If you're turning against someone, you're more just saying that person's faults.
Yeah.
That's why I think it'd be easier to be in the boardroom than it would be in the round table and watching people that you know are lying. And I lost my shit a few times watching it because for me there is a line. What you're going to be. Yeah. There's sort of being deceitful and like really lying to that person.
Mm-hmm.
And when they did it with such a straight face, I was like, that's not. That really pissed me off.
It was fascinating. I think that's what made the show such success. The lengths people will go to, and I mean, you do slot into a role, and it is sort of an acting role, or however you want to do it. But yeah, there is. I think there's a lot to come out of it as well. I think some people will go to any level necessary to win that, and I think we're going to see that over the next few episodes because they're comfortable with the game. Yeah, they're comfortable with it now.
Let's talk about it then. The parting gift.
Yes,
because you could sense when watching it that you're quite emotional.
Yeah,
because you knew what was going on.
That's a lovely way of saying it. He was fucked off beyond belief, wasn't he?
I thought I came across really calm.
You look furious.
Oh mate, I was raging.
Yeah, and that very much comes across. And you obviously said what you said around the round table. But how did you feel? Do you regret giving them the hint about the parting gift? How does that sit?
Good question. So I had an option to, and I always believe in my morals, how I've been raised. Like you mentioned earlier, I've got a line I go to. There's a limit I go to. It is a game. And that was it. I had a simple choice to walk away, and the outcome was inevitable, how it was. Or could I change 3 people's lives and give them an opportunity potentially to catch? I mean, the main factor we spoke about the other day was Hannah. Hannah was the matriarch of that shifting towards Will. If I'd went around that last episode trying to convince anyone that Will was a traitor, I was buried, dirt was getting shoveled on top of me, I was done and dusted. So I had 2 options, and I sat there. I truly believe I'd done the right thing because there was a scene with me and Aaron in the Range Rover coming back, which didn't make the cut, unfortunately. But he said, "What are you doing tonight?" And I was like, "Well, I hope you get the money for your mum's house. I think you're a good lad. You've been raised well." Hannah wanted the money to pursue a comedy career. Meryl just wanted lifetime supply of Red Bull. So it was with them options. But Will deserved the money as well. Will played an absolute blinder. He played a fantastic. Will's job was a lot harder than what Harry's was. Harry had a chance to learn from season 1 and played a fantastic game. Do you know what I mean? Current champion. But Will played equally a good game, but Will didn't have much to sort of go on. So Will's always going to be my favourite traitor, along with Amanda. But yeah, I have no regrets at all. I was quite clinical knowing that I could help them. And it was like in my eyes, it was like good versus evil at that point. I mean, I was fully immersed in that game. I was there for a long time. I was really torn during the day on the missions. I couldn't enjoy that last mission when we was in the helicopter on the speedboat. I knew what was coming, as I mentioned earlier. I knew the walls were closing in. And especially with Hannah, I knew it was all over for me. So yeah, I thought about it long and hard and thought, how could I leave them a little treat and see if they can pick something up that I left. I mean, it was nominated for TV Moment of the Year against the Queen. It was. I'm very proud of it, and I've never. Do I have any regrets? Absolutely no. I would have done it again in a heartbeat. Will I do it again? Definitely not. You probably can't do it now.
Yeah, well, production not.
Yeah, no,
pissed off with you.
No, that's what everyone said about it. They said it wasn't. There was a games master from America that said you could write 100 rules and you could have written that into the rule book. BBC even released a statement. It wasn't a rule. Obviously, I found a loophole. Obviously, they would set that in stone now. You can't do that. Ross done something similar as he left in season 2, so I'll leave you a little Easter egg, but that was different. He was revealing about his mum, the relationship between him and his mum. But no, I know for a fact you can't do any parting gifts now. But then why would anyone try and replicate what that was? There's key moments in season 1 that made the show blow up, and I believe obviously at the final, no one saw that coming at the end. So I'm very proud of what I've done. I changed 3 people's lives. Me and Will were good as gold. We're very good friends after the show. There's no hard feelings, and it was a mic drop moment. But yeah, I don't think it will ever be replicated. But yeah, I stick to my guns, and I enjoyed leaving that gift.
Go on then. Which show do you think you're most likely to win?
Oh, I think I could do The Apprentice.
Do you?
Yeah, but from a sales point of view, my job as a comedian is always people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, I think I would do well in that environment, especially when you're going out and you're speaking to people. Like I've had to do that at every Edinburgh Fringe show that I've gone to. You're going out, you're selling a show. The part that I would definitely struggle with is the business plans, because that one, again, the way they make it look on TV is not how it because you didn't turn up with that plan, did you? They give you how long do you have to get it all together?
Oh, so before you actually go into filming,
Good question. Yeah,
very good question. Before you actually go into filming, you basically I think 4 days before you enter the show, they say, can you submit your business plans? But you only get told you're going on the show about 2 to 3 weeks beforehand.
Right.
So I was thankful because I had actually had one roughly mapped out because I was going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And it just fell well in time. So I had some good bones in mind. But yeah, in essence, you have 2 to 3 weeks, but you've also got a plan going away for a lengthy period of time. Who's going to look after your house, the bills, and everything in a short period of time. So it's no wonder that some of the business plans aren't up to scratch, because it's quite an intense period before you go away and sort your life out.
And also, you don't get to edit it, I imagine. You don't get to work on it. And you're cut off as well. So you've got no internet. You've got no... Because there was one episode, who was it when they were like looking at business names? And it was like, you haven't checked the name. And then it turns out it was already a name, and the guy had bought the domain name.
Oh, that was me.
Was that you?
Oh, I think that might be me.
Yeah. Like that. You couldn't do anything there, could you?
Well, no. And it's the classic Mike Suter, and he slides it across. I had a company already registered under that name, and then Rachel had the domain names bought for her website. So, there's no escaping it. You just want to wriggle and, melt.
They go in as well.
Yep.
And because it's TV, because I can't imagine anyone be like that in real life. They just go, no, because it's TV.
Yeah, would you have got any regrets that you would have done something different? I get asked this all the time. If you could change anything, or what's your biggest regret? Would you like take it played out exactly how it would have played out? But if you could change something,
so I don't believe in regrets. So the answer is no to that. But I know that I went in very hard business and probably didn't show the softer side of me until the end, when I started to warm up with all the candidates and became very good friends with them. And so I think I probably would have gone in more me, as opposed to...
It's hard though, isn't it? When you look back, you can always look back, and everyone says that you shouldn't assess yourself, but you do naturally look back and go, I could have played, but we never lose. We only learn, don't we? You win or you learn, so you don't really lose anything, but you've learned. I mean, has it changed you as a person?
Probably just having more self-belief, because I remember when I was in the final 5 and I looked across the final 5 and you've got Trey.
Great achievement, yeah.
Exactly, and they were all sort of leading business professionals, all had their own businesses. Trey, who had produced UK Top 10, you got Rachel, who had Boutique Fitness Studio, Phil, Pie Maker, everybody was incredible, and I was in that group of people, and there was a bit of a, oh wow, I am good enough type feeling. If
you could play the traitors, who would you like to play with, and who would you like to play against? So if you had an all-star, if you could go in with any other traitors from past shows, etc., or would anyone in particular you'd like to take in there, battle against in a made-up environment?
Do you know, I'd take Phil from The Apprentice in with me.
Excellent.
So I can read him and he'd me, so I'd figure him out.
Right, game phasing effect straight away. Love it.
Who would I not want to play against?
Do you know about the traitor's dilemma as well at the end?
No.
So this could have happened as well. Platos and I, if me and Will did get everyone else out, me and Will made it to the end, then we're given a choice, and it's share or steal. And it's happened once in Australia, second season. So all of that battling, you get to the end, and will that trust be enough in the 11th hour to come and go, right, I've been with Kieran for the whole episode, I trust him, but in that split second when they say if you steal and I share, they win the money. If we both say steal, no one wins the money, so everyone walks away with nothing. And that happened in season 2 of Australia. 3 traitors were left, all of them left with nothing, all of that work for nothing. But if you work as a team from the first, I think you could really corner. I think you could smash it.
Here's the thing though, what was the bucket they could have won?
Oh, it's a bigger in Australia. I think it was up to about $250,000.
So you think 250 grand?
Yeah,
is a lot more than 125 grand.
This is the beauty of that show. But I'm saying, if you made I don't personally, if I got that, I made a promise to you. I think like money comes and goes. I know people, you say I'm saying that now, but I'd go, do you know what? I could never look you in the eye again thinking I've shafted you in that last bit. I must be happy.
I have to look in.
Yes, but there is always a price for morality. Where does your line? Different lines.
And that's the same as me at the end with what I'd done at the end of the thingy. But I'd go, do you know what? I made a deal with her. I'm going to stick to that deal. If she turns on me last minute, c'est la vie, I've stuck to my.
Yeah.
I'm 150 grand down. My morals won't pay my bills, but I'll always believe in my heart that I've done the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then there will be a price on that. Absolutely. If it was £1 million, would you have done?
Well, this is what I mean.
So, this is where we go now, because $250,000 or pounds or whatever it was, if like in that situation, because that's where to me it stops being a game. Like you're really messing with something.
Well, people with whatever your background, whatever you are in life, you're like, oh my God, because that could like, and I know for Australia season 1, Craig, I don't know if you ever saw, Craig was like one of the guys, he got right to the end and he really thought the lady was a faithful and she stole the money off him at the last minute, and you could see in his face, I mean, he had a disabled daughter. He was such a lovely guy, and they're like, guys, nice guys come last, and I was like, but oh my God, like it would have haunted me. I was like, it was horrible to watch. Great TV. I could
that to somebody though.
I know I just haven't got DNA.
Situation. Yeah, I couldn't. I would have to say I was.
Not even that. If I got to, because that part of it is the game. So if I've got down to the final, say for example, it's me and you, knowing your situation, yes, I won, but I would now go, I'm going to share it with you.
Yeah.
But that's me off camera. That's where I sit with it. I'd have to share.
So here we go.
I think it's easy to say that.
Yeah.
I don't think you would off camera. I think you'd be like, well, okay.
Oh no, for me, that's what I mean. Like, even if I wanted to, I couldn't bring myself to do that to someone.
But you could if there was the right price for it.
But that's the thing. So let's say the price it's a 10 mil pot, right? In my mind, 5 mil is just as life changing as 10 mil. I couldn't do it. Like, the bigger the pot gets, I think the easier it would be for me to split. Do you know what I mean?
Is that because you earn so much?
Because I have so much money now.
You think of the other games, you watch Squid Games, guys. You heard of Squid Games, yeah? So that's the biggest pot around any game show at the moment. That's number one. I think it's 4.53 million or something like that. Someone won last year, and that does change for certain people. I just think I would always, hand on heart, just go, I could change 2 people's lives, or I could have it myself. But it would just play on my mind.
Yeah,
I don't think money changes people. I think you're an arsehole, you're not. I think
it's quite simplistically put,
because it's
great.
The money, like you said, money's money. You're gonna spend it. Yeah. It's gonna go.
Comes and goes, mate. There's a flip side to this question as well. If you got into the final with someone that you weren't too sure about and you didn't have a bond with or a relationship with, then that whole conversation goes out the window. Like, well, I'm gonna fuck it. This is mine. I'm gonna take it. Then when
if there's someone I don't like,
if you weren't bonded with, is someone you actually wasn't that keen on, or didn't play, but you ended up in the end game together, then would the gameplay take over? Then I would make an exception, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
You don't
it's
know.
the bond I've got with that person that makes the thing. If I didn't have no bond with that person, or we didn't agree anything, and we ended up in the final together, then it's fair game. That's when I look at it as a game. But if I got with someone I cared about or I thought about, I was like, oh, it really is. It's the relationship I have with that person that would change the outcome for me. If I didn't, then I'll go for the pelt on the game.
I'll tell you how I see it. So you've played sports to a very, very high level.
Yeah.
Have you ever played against a friend?
Yeah.
So playing against a friend is very different to playing against a stranger.
Absolutely.
No, I feel like I'd give him more elbow.
No, well, this is what I'm saying. But playing against a stranger, if I win, I don't care that you lost if you're a stranger. Whereas if I'm playing against a friend, I'm happy that I won, but I'm also, I would be sad that you lost. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I understand.
Your outcome makes a difference to how I feel about my outcome.
I understand the thinking, but I'm too competitive to give a shit.
There you go.
We could still honour them.
Yeah, go over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to win.
But that's the thing, though. Like, it's a stranger. I'm not going to think twice about
Battle an eyelid, yeah, absolutely.
What's life been like post The Apprentice?
Fine. I mean, we kind of hide away from most things. Life's been great. Life's been fine. It's been pretty much normal. I feel like with The Apprentice, or I don't know about The Traitors, but with The Apprentice, it's not necessarily a show that casts you fully into the limelight and fully into the exposure. You can sort of slowly back away into the bush if you want to do that, which is something I've probably done. I've just cracked on with normal life.
Did it help you in the business world?
It did, yeah. So I was thinking about setting up my own business. I sort of, like I said, semi-drafted a business plan, and then going on the show meant I was given an accelerated opportunity to launch my own business. And by doing that, it's meant that I've learned early on in life that that's not something I want to do moving forward, which is why I've had a career change.
What's happening now?
What's happening now? Well, shutting down the business is pretty much shut, and I spend every day painting animals, and life is brilliant.
Oh, I love that. Fair play.
Nice.
I love that. Yeah.
But I can't show you what I'm doing because it's Christmas, and
how do you feel in yourself now you're doing something you really love and enjoy? Do you feel it's changed you slightly? Do you feel less pressure? Like, how do you feel generally speaking?
Yeah, I think it's probably the first time in my life I feel like I'm actually doing something for me.
Lovely.
And I'm just so happy about it. It sounds really silly, but there is not much more joy than being sat in an art studio, my little dog curled up by the side, and me painting somebody else's dog.
Lovely.
I mean, beautiful.
In your element.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
love
So
that.
very wholesome life I'm living at the moment.
So reality TV, you done?
Yeah. No, actually.
You're not done.
Yeah.
You're not done. There's more to come.
Hey, don't go telling everybody. Give it all away.
Yeah.
If I was obviously asking on The Traitors, like 1,000% would. Any other TV shows? What TV show would you do then?
We talked about it last night, funny enough. There's a couple that are in the pipeline that I'm hearing rumours about.
It's a hint, is it?
No, I mean, to be fair, I'm a victim of sort of their own success on Traitors. What else could I really do that's where the Traitors is at the moment? I'm a celebrity I'd love to do, without a shadow of a doubt. I'll do that. Just for the weight loss, really. And I'm a good cook. My first job was a chef, so I won't mention MasterChef.
Oh, I'd do MasterChef.
Yeah,
I would do MasterChef.
I would love to do MasterChef. Yeah, I would love. Because my first job was a chef. That was my first job out of school. Was working for £1 an hour for 12 hours a day, and I learned so much as in the kitchen. I'm very grateful for that experience. It moulded me into a decent young man. Rather could have went other ways in life, but I learned a lot. And you never forget, cooking's a life skill.
Yeah,
cooking's a passion. You never forget. My mum taught me to cook from a very young age. So that sort of basic foundations of single parent family, cook, clean, iron, wash. I was well skilled at 14 years of age. I could do everything.
Well, Flo, it has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Flo. Yeah.
Shame I can't say the same.
It has been a pleasure.
Cut in straight back in.
Yeah, this is our friendship now. So it was actually. Well, I'll say one nice thing about her, which I'm really pissed off. I'm going to say, but from. Because I on that show, on The Apprentice, You're Fired, there was Flo, there was Trey, and there was a few others, but out of all of them, these are the two I still speak to. We've gone out for drinks, we've gone out for food since then, and it was actually really nice to meet the people behind the personality from the show and actually see more of what wasn't shown on the show, because you're very right, because Flo is actually one of the warmest people you'll ever meet, and seeing her and Trey together, there was such because you saw that friendship on the show, and it's very easy to go, that's just for TV, but you see them off camera, like with friends and family, and you go, it is that real, which was actually very nice to be part of.
It is nice to see because I've been there. I know how you're shown on TV and who you are sometimes completely different kettle of fish.
Yeah, she can't drink for shit though.
I was the one that fell into that bin, all right?
Well, you know, we'll leave it on this story. We had a night out, and we went to Trey had a launch for his networking business. We went to the launch for that, and we had a few drinks, and then we've left. Then we're walking back to the train station, and there's a very simple rule of, if I do something to you, but I call it, you can't be angry. Right. So I might just randomly go, right, no, then I'll headbutt you.
Okay.
And because I've called it, that's the rule. You can't be angry.
Sounds fun.
Right. Now, Flo tried to get me with a shoulder barge.
Okay.
But she shoulder barged and completely missed me. Went straight into a bin, arse over tit.
Play it cool.
It was hilarious. And have you ever seen the true side of someone's personality? It's the ability to laugh at yourself when you've fallen over a bin in central London, and looking elegant as well. We weren't like we were in tracksuits. We'd been to a really nice place, just straight over this bin.
Love that.
Funniest thing.